On this episode of the Film Optix podcast, we're going to be discussing the 2020 Game Awards that took place last night. And of course, I am going to be joined by some amazing guests as well. So let's jump in. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Film Optix, brought to you by the Drive-In Podcast Network. I'm your host, Christian, and today we're going to be discussing the 2020 Game Awards that took place last night. I'm joined by three phenomenal YouTubers here on the podcast today. We have Zach Pope. How are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing good, man. The Last of Us Part 2 stand here. I'm ready to talk more Last of Us.
Literally just swept everything. It's like, does there even need to be a reward? It's crazy stuff. And we also have Brett from BamTube TV. How are you doing today, man?
I'm doing pretty great, man. I'm happy to be here. Big fan of the show. Big fan, of course, of the Game Awards. So I'm excited to talk about it.
Hell yeah, man. And of course, we have Mr. Jared from J Buck Studios himself. How are you?
What is going on, everyone? I am doing well. Surprise, surprise. I literally finished the recap of this show 5 minutes before we are recording, so I am fresh. I'm ready to talk about all these winners and trailers.
Hell yeah, man. I know we were like me, Brett, and Zach are like posting stuff in the little group chat, and Jared like barely said anything. I'm like, I really hope he's not like, I'm not sure if he's keeping up with the news. There was just so mumuch going on.
Oh yeah, when you guys were dropping all that news, I was tuning into some investor meetings and all this other stuff, and I was like, my brain's gonna explode.
Literally, I have both of my screens up. I had, the Game Awards and the investors meeting. I'm going back and forth. I'm like, okay, they're not talking about anything here. Let's go over here and whatnot. It was just, wow. And then they were dropping more news about the whole Warner Brothers situation. I'm like, I can't handle this day right now. This is too much for a Thursday. I need to split this stuff up. Got to tackle it one by one. But yeah, so the Game Awards happened last night. This is the 7th annual, I believe. Jeff Keighley's been doing this for almost a decade now. It's been getting steadily better. Of course, this year, there was more of a contact-free COVID theme, if you will, similar to what they did with the Emmys, but it was definitely more Zoom-based. But yeah, I just wanted to get your guys' overall thoughts about the Game Awards really quick before we dive into the winners and, of course, all of the crazy announcements that happened. I guess we'll start with Brett. What did you think of the overall event? Did you think it was too long? Or
overall thoughts? I enjoyed. It was kind of mixed. I feel like where should I start? Honestly, on the mixed portion of it, I'll say that I found the disappointments. That was a great way to start. English isn't my first language or anything. I found that the announcements were disappointing, was what I was trying to get at. I feel like there was nothing really big, nothing that really wowed me, and we didn't see anything new that had been announced previously that really shocked me and got me hyped. So I found that the announcements were quite disappointing. The awards, I feel like a lot of the winners were deserving, and that was good, but I didn't always like the presentation. I feel like a lot of the awards kind of got swept under the rug just for the sake of it was basically just the world premiere show, and every now and then we'll list off 5 straight awards and then call it a day. And so it was a bit of a mixed bag. It felt a little overlong, but overall, I think they did the best with what they could. I mean, obviously, Geoff Keighley did everything in his power to make sure this happened this year. It looked great. They did a really great job having people through the Zoom calls and a few people there in person. So overall, I think it was successful, but I would have liked to have seen a bit more of the awards from, the Game Awards and maybe some more exciting announcements.
Okay. Jared, I guess we'll start with you. Sorry to put you on the spot. But
oh, no, you're fine. It's funny because, yeah, Brett, you're hitting on a lot of things that I kind of think I had problems with as well, or qualms with, rather, where it was the world premiere show, and in between, we literally are just like, these are the nominees, they won. Okay, now moving on. So it felt weird because I even was watching, I guess in the corner, it was like, oh, this is the pre-show, but they were giving away awards during that. So I'm like, are these discounted awards? Are these ones that don't carry prestige to be part of the real show? So again, I love watching this. I love being in the know to kind of what's coming, what's the game I need to go back and replay and whatnot. So it was nice to see all of these, big games, especially some ones that I have personally played, get these awards. But yeah, the announcements kind of felt a little lackluster. The world premieres, nothing really is like, holy crap, I am looking forward to this game. A few fun things in there, but nothing that's really like, oh, week or two from now I'm gonna like mark it down, I'm gonna pre-order it or anything like that.
All right, and last but not least, Zach.
I watched more of the Disney and kind of just had you guys keep me up to date and then check into everything this morning. Talking about game announcements, sometimes I forget about games. So like some of the new games, like the Back for Blood, I love Left 4 Dead. That's just like I still play that game to this day.
So fucking
that
nice.
game looked awesome. It's literally the next Left 4 Dead. Like that studio said, you know what, Valve, if you don't want to make Left 4 Dead 3, we will. And I loved it. But the thing I'm most excited about is the Callisto Protocol. Holy crap, that looks awesome. But they did just announce this morning it actually takes place in the PUBG universe, which I did not know. Which is interesting.
Weird.
But that was the thing I was most interested in at that award show. And in general, any of the other announcements, because I'm trying to even think like of any others off the top of my head. Arc 2 is
Vin Diesel, baby.
Yeah. I don't know how to feel
me
about
for
that.
a loop.
Like, isn't Arc doesn't have a story, right?
Does
I mean,
now.
Apparently now they're making a TV series, an anime. I was expecting that girl to start waterbending, to be honest.
But, the other thing I was very excited about was the Mass Effect trailer. Because Andromeda, I think we can all say was shit. I mean, if you played it, it was not great whatsoever. I didn't even beat it. I thought it was terrible. But this trailer, from what we understand, most of the original team's coming back, and you see Shepard's piece of his armor at the end. And who is that picking it up? Is it the original alien from Mass Effect trilogy? I think that it is. I think the story for this one's actually going to be them looking for Shepard. I actually really do. I think there's a new threat and they have to find him, which makes me really excited because I need that in my life. So yeah, those are definitely the ones that I was most like interested in. It's just like, I just wanted to make sure that my baby Last of Us won.
Oh, of course, yeah, we're gonna definitely dive into that here. Before we actually do dive into this, winners, what Cyberpunk 2077 came out, and I wanted to get like your guys' first thoughts because I believe Brett has it, and Jared, do you have it?
Yep, I got it. I've installed it. That's as far as I got.
Okay, so I'm the only one here who hasn't bought it yet. Great, only because I've been doing a lot of Christmas shopping. So for people, so I'm trying to budget my money, but overall thoughts about that really quick. You guys have been enjoying it thus far, at least.
I very invested in it. Like, I'm very sad that like I didn't get time to play it yesterday, so like I played a lot in the morning, and then guys, I literally like, when like you do one thing and you're like, I should just do the rest of it. So like I had like my 64, my GameCube like right next to my desk, and I'm like, fuck it. I bought the adapter to put into my TV. I'm like, I'm just gonna do it all right now. I'm not gonna be lazy. And it took me like 4 hours. So by then it was like midnight by then, because this is after the Disney event, because I decided to do this late at night. And then I'm like, oh, Mandalorian's up. I should watch that now. And then I started playing at like 3 a.m. and I'm like, I'm an idiot because I have to film this thing in the morning. So I'm gonna stop. So the game's addicting, and I'm enjoying the hell out of it, and I'm really sad because now my girlfriend texted me today and she goes, hey, can we go to the store today? And I'm like, fuck,
sad.
No, I'm in the future. I'm 57 years in the future right now.
Yeah,
No,
I'm
trying to save
come on.
Tokyo.
You know why I took today off. Play my fucking game. I know she won't listen to this. Well, maybe she will. I hope to God she doesn't. But yeah. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention Evil Dead game. Fuck yes.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, but Brett, you've been enjoying your Neo Tokyo.
Yeah, it's so far I'm not as far in as I think Zach is, so I'm not entirely hooked right now, but it is addicting. The gameplay loops are great. You have so much choice, so much variety. The main story so far is pretty interesting. My only issue, of course, is that what everyone else has said. At this point so far, I've been fortunate enough not to have a crash, but the visual glitches, there's like a plethora of them. I spent the whole last mission with like your main like companion with his like head around like down back between his legs up through his ass and back through again. It was like insane. It was ridiculous.
Brett, maybe that's just part of the game. Like, you're in the future and someone's hacking your eyeball.
Yeah, no, the game is really funny though, because like there are a lot of glitches, and how Fallout New Vegas, if you guys remember, like all the funny glitches with that game too.
Yep.
Yeah.
This game has a lot of those, and I've never actually experienced them until today, dude. Right before we hopped on, like you have this like thing where you can call your car to you, and so I call my car and I watch it run right into like 3 human beings into a truck, and then what happened is it went through the ground.
Yes.
And I sat there looking at it. I'm like, okay. So I called it again and I couldn't find it, and I turn around and it's stuck inside a truck, like a truck that's parked with a man sitting in it. So I walk up and I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna do this, and then the cops are gonna get called on me because I already know what's gonna happen. It's gonna kill this human being. So I click to get in the car, and the truck launches in the air. Just gone.
Yeah, I've had a few
like
bodies just flying.
Yeah, and then like I went to like one of those like I guess gang lairs, and I started killing some of the gang members, and one of them got stuck in a truck. So I had to get in that truck, drive it into the wall to kill him. Like I kept reversing back and forth to kill him so I could beat the mission because it wouldn't let me shoot him. I mean, there's a lot of glitches, but like it's those ones that like you take forever with you.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Okay, fair enough. Zach, what are you playing this on your Xbox Series X or your PS5?
PS5, but I've heard people are having issues with the Series X, so I'm kind of glad I didn't buy it.
PS5 also.
Okay, okay, yeah. So Brett, you did get a PS5.
I got both too, just like Zach.
Nice.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
I'm definitely gonna get a Xbox Series X soon, especially after that Perfect Dark. I was like,
oh man,
yeah. It's gonna be great stuff. Well, yeah. So let's just dive right into the winners really quick, or the ones that we really, really care about, I should say, because there's a plethora here. Of course, we're not going to go through all of them for all the listeners at home, but I guess we'll just start off with Game of the Year. It's a few of the nominees. We had Hades, Ghost of Tsushima, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Doom Eternal, Animal Crossing New Horizons, and of course, The Last of Us Part 2, which took home the gold. Were you guys expecting this to win, or was there another game on your radar that you would have preferred to, take home the gold? I guess we'll start with Jared.
I personally, of this list, there's a couple that I've just dabbled in. I mean, I played Last of Us all the way through, and when a game makes you cry, I'm like, you know what? This is something that is going to last with me. No pun intended. But it won, and that was the one that I had my chips on. I was hoping it would win. It had great performances. It had a great story. It was emotional, and it's reuniting with characters that we loved from the first one. So I don't think it was really surprising, but I know that they it was up against some great other contenders. Ghost of Tsushima is like a beautiful game, and the story's awesome. Plus that new content that they added in.
Great.
Yeah. Sony finally is dabbling back into a multiplayer. I'm very excited about that. Brett, what about you?
I actually did. I did a prediction video just a few hours before the Game Awards went out, and I'll just reference that again. So The Last of Us Part 2 was who I wanted to win. That's by far my favorite on the list. That's who I was rooting for, aside from just seeing all the dude bros get salty. But like genuinely, I adore the game. It's one of my favorite games of the entire generation, possibly my favorite. It's absolutely incredible. I was really expecting, though, history to repeat itself like it did in 2018, where we saw Red Dead 2 sweep up in every category, and then at the last second, God of War came in and kind of snagged that Game of the Year award. And I was really expecting Ghost of Tsushima to kind of sneak in and take that Game of the Year award. It's equally as deserving, honestly. It's a phenomenal game, but I'm very happy that it did end up being The Last of Us Part 2, because that's who I personally wanted to win. I thought deserved it the most.
Yeah, I felt the same way. Zach, what about you? You
If
wanted
any other
Doom
game would have
Eternal,
won,
right?
it would have been fucking bullshit. I'm just saying, like, honestly, like, I've played every single one of these, but Hades. And I've heard Hades is great.
Hades is really good, by the way.
Yeah, I
I
want to pick it up eventually, like, once I finally run out of games to play. But first off, Animal Crossing New Horizon, great game, addicting during quarantine. But guess what? My village is probably dead. Like, I haven't touched it. I haven't touched it since April. Doom Eternal, loved it. Haven't touched it since I beat it. And I hate the online for Doom Eternal. Final Fantasy VII Remake, excellent. But guess what? It's only part of a game.
Yeah. That was my biggest qualm too.
Yeah, and I loved it. I thought it was a blast. But again, when the game ended, I said, okay, so when's the next chapter?
Mm-hmm.
Because
they don't know, because they don't have a roadmap.
8 years from now.
and they really should.
8 years.
We'll all be dead by the second part.
Yeah.
Square Enix likes to take their time. So
yeah, easily. Ghost of Tsushima, here's the thing. I loved it. It's funny though. After I beat it, I tried going back through and doing the side missions, and I'm not invested in them. And Ghost of Tsushima, I think, wins on a technical level. But Last of Us Part 2, I mean, just like Jared said, it made me cry.
Mm-hmm.
It's the first story game that I beat and then said, okay, I'm going to go back through and play again. And that's never happened to me. I usually beat the story and that's it. I don't touch it for a couple months, couple weeks. I literally started it right back then that same night. And I was so invested in that game. You know, when you are hitting someone, you truly feel like you're killing them. There's a couple, I'm not going to do spoilers because I know what you're talking about. Yeah. There's a couple moments in particular where you are hitting someone and I'm like, I'm killing this person.
It's tough. Yeah, like going through the game of the year, I've played 1, 2, 3, 4. So all of them minus Animal Crossing because I don't have a Switch. I was surprised that Final Fantasy VII Remake was on here, but then again, the story is different. There are certain characters that don't make it in the original that are alive in the remake, and I think they're trying to spin it a different way. I just kind of wish we would have got more of a full game. It was great, but personally, I think it also won for best RPG. For me personally, I thought that should have gone to Persona 5, but I mean, it is what it is. But I do agree with Zach. It's like I love Ghost of Tsushima, and I'm definitely going to go back and play it with the PS5 enhancements.
It's so good.
But I'm really looking forward to going back and playing God of War. That's what I'm contemplating. Like, do I buy Cyberpunk or do I play God of War again? You know, at 60 FPS. Like, I'm just really happy that these consoles are finally hitting the 60 FPS mark, because I feel like these consoles should have been out, 8-7 years ago when the PS4 and Xbox One came out, but that is what it is. But I am very excited. I was happy that Last of Us Part 2 won, because I thought Ghost of Tsushima was going to win. It's like we were saying with Red Dead, it was between Red Dead and God of War in 2018, and it looked like Red Dead had it in the bag, but then God of War came out and swept excuse me, everything. But yeah, it was a crazy ride. Everything. I just wish these, number one, I'm not sure if you guys agree with this or not. I wish that these, at least the Game Awards, was pushed back until like January.
Yeah.
Because could you imagine if like the Oscars or like the Emmys is like, hey, if you have any, shows or TV, like movies coming out in December, well, sorry, you missed your chance. You got to wait until the following year. And it's happened twice so far with the Game Awards. We had Super Smash Brothers Ultimate came out, what was it, 2 years ago? I think it was during 2018. It dropped the night of the Game Awards. And then last year, we had Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order that wasn't able to make the list. And it's like people just kind of forgot about that game. I think it got nominated for one thing, but I'm not 100%
one thing
sure.
this year. I think it was like Best Action Adventure.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, like I'm glad it got. Yeah, I'm glad it got something, but it should. I really wish Jeff Keighley would push this back to at least like January, maybe February, so that there are just more games that can be nominated for this, so we can truly get a best
like which games would you have put in here?
For Game of the Year or for damn, that's a good question.
Because I'm gonna be honest. I mean, I I don't think there's any games that I would have moved out of here. Again, I haven't played Hades, but like the other one,
Hades was a shock for me, honestly. But yeah.
like I'm trying to think of what other games came out this year that I would have slid into here.
I probably would have.
I mean, the Avengers game, right?
Yes.
Absolutely not. Yes. I'm trying to. I guess the one thing I would swap out. I was actually surprised Doom Eternal was on this list because I mean
it came out so early.
Yeah, that is true. I guess it would. I would have swapped out Final Fantasy VII Remake for Persona 5 Royal, even though that is
okay. So what's the difference between Royale and the other one? Because I have the other
Royale has more this extra DLC because Persona 5 originally came out on the PlayStation 3. They ported it over to PS4.
Oh, I did not know.
Yeah, that. But like, I mean, that's probably just me. Honestly, this is pretty much every other game, every other big release, at least. I mean, if Cyberpunk, got their shit together, it probably would have been on here. But were any other games that you guys would have for Game of the Year at least would have swapped out?
I mean, the only one I'm thinking of, and I mean, it's like not even really, I don't know, a full game, quotes around that, is Miles Morales. Like, I loved it. It's just, I don't know if it really changed enough really to make an impact from, the 2018 one.
Yeah, it was very short. It took me maybe like 30 to 40 hours to platinum that game.
Oh, dude,
and then I was less. Like, I spent a lot of time just dying.
Did you?
I sucked at so for the last trophy that I had to get before I got the platinum, it was like the 100 times combo, and I was like, okay, I'm not gonna do this.
You want to know something?
Normal.
That was my first one. That was the first.
Was that really?
I got it in that.
I had to knock that bitch down to easy to get that. I'm not even joking.
Well, I did play. I think I played on normal the first time through.
Yeah, I did too.
But I forgot how hard the Spider-Man games are. But I'll be honest, Miles Morales I felt like the game was easier because he had the Venom punch. It was like so easy. Just knock back and punch. So by the way, throwing in some games, I maybe would have like slid in there. I played a little bit of Half-Life Alyx on my friend's VR. It's excellent. And I think that could have been up for Game of the Year. Watch Dogs Legion, I didn't play. It looks fucking stupid. Resident Evil 3 was 3 hours of something. I bought it for $10, so I haven't played
Astro's Playroom, bro.
Oh, you know what? You could make an argument for that. Star Wars Squadron, I haven't played. The new Legend of Zelda, I haven't played yet. Crash Bandicoot 4, wasn't that excellent?
Oh yeah, that was excellent. If you guys have not played that, if you're a big like platformer gamer, it is phenomenal. It's very challenging though. Like, I don't think children should be playing this game.
So will I rage quit? Because like I'm getting that for Christmas.
I played so many times. Yeah, it was insane. Brett, was there any games that you would have swapped out for Game of the Year?
Honestly, nothing that I can think of off of the top of my head that you guys haven't already listed.
Yeah, it's weird. 2020 has been a weird year for everyone, and it's kind of like, the Game Awards are here. And like, I'm glad The Last of Us Part 2 won, but like at the same time, it's like, everyone was together, but apart at the same time. It just didn't feel as rewarding. Not saying that obviously I absolutely love the game. I'm like 50% done with the platinum. I need to go back and play the rest of it, but I'm trying to wait until if there's going to be like a performance boost for the PS5.
I'm going to be honest. I think they do a full remastered or PS5.
You think so in like a few years?
Oh,
they did that for the original.
I think
it was only like what it was. Because they did it in 2013 or it was 2014. It was like the summer of 2014 when the remaster came out.
Next year, I think they're going to. I really think they're going to kill it next year with a lot of exclusives, because right now we got Ratchet and Clank, God of War,
hell yeah,
Horizon, man, the new Final Fantasy, Returnal, which looks interesting. I need to see a little bit more of that. That's 5 exclusives already. Plus, I'm assuming they have more that. Deathloop, Ghostwire Tokyo. There's rumors of the new Silent Hill game, which I actually think if they announce that, I think it's coming out in a couple of months type situation.
Yeah. That'd be the best bet.
It would be. But that's why I'm going to go as far to say I think they are going to do a PS5 upgrade. I think that's why they haven't done the 60 frames yet. I think that's why they haven't done any of this and why they haven't even said anything. Maybe last night should have been the time to announce it, but maybe we hear about it in the next couple of weeks after it won the Game of the Year. The other thing, there's two. I also think if they do the upgrade, it comes with the online. I think they'll have the online attached to it.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Because people want to play factions again.
Yeah, because I've been playing it on the original one.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah. And I think the only reason why I haven't platinumed the first Last of Us game is because a lot of those trophies deal with online. But what I really like with The Last of Us Part 2, they added those, new trophies with like the grounded mode and whatnot. But you don't need those trophies in order to platinum the game.
Yeah.
Because they actually do deem it too hard because nobody would get that trophy.
I think
there
only
might be a few.
like 0.5% of people have the permadeath, which I've tried. And I got to where Abby was crawling across the top and fucking fell off.
No. Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, that scene. I was like, I'm right there with you, Abby. Speaking of Abby, Laura Bailey won for best performance in a video game this year, which I think was honestly well deserved because she did a phenomenal job.
I was shocked. I was very shocked, but
really?
I'm not sad about it either. I knew it was probably going to be her or Johnson that got it.
Yeah,
but I was very happy to see she got it. And I do think, because I know it's a jury, I think a lot of them, it was probably split down the middle between the two, but I think she got it because of all the backlash she was getting. And I think
so too.
Because her performance is incredible. And for people who are like, I don't want to see anything else with Abby, I'm going to be sorry. I would not mind following Abby in another side on or like anything of that nature.
Like an Uncharted Lost Legacy style thing.
Yeah. Especially with, who's the other character that's with her at the end of the game?
Lev?
Yes.
Yeah. Is it Lev? Yes.
Yeah, and I loved it. But I mean, God, I just love The Last of Us. I literally love The Last of Us. And Laura Bailey just killed it as Abby. She made me love a character that I absolutely despised.
Yeah. It was, there's two sides to every story, and personally, I think they did a phenomenal job. But the one thing I think, like between Ghost of Tsushima, because I guess you can kind of spin that as like the Assassin's Creed like ninja game that we never got. But I mean, the fact that an American studio or just a non-Japanese studio in general made that game, and you had people, I think like the CEO of Sega and a few other Japanese companies were saying like we should have made that. That's when you've made a phenomenal game.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad that, Sucker Punch is very versatile. Sometimes I do wish that even with Sony Santa Monica Studios, I wish they would make something other than God of War. I know they made Journey a while ago, but I would definitely like to see what else they can pump out.
Well, and that's the thing. We don't know what they're working on. I think these studios are getting bigger I think Sony's giving them more resources. Like we know Naughty Dog is working on 2 games right now. And neither of them are Uncharted. We know that. Neither of them are.
Jack Dexter.
Dude, it's gotta be. But I know one's a new IP. So like that would make sense. And then I know there's this other studio Sony bought that's apparently working on the next Uncharted game that's not going to be Nathan Drake. That worries me. Hopefully it's Blue Point. I would really hope it's Blue Point doing that game. But for me, it's like, Sucker Punch kills it. I mean, Sly Cooper, Infamous, which I really want another Infamous game.
Yeah, that's the one that I'm kind of missing from them.
Yeah, to be honest, though, the one franchise for me, and I want to know your guys as well. Mine is Resistance.
Yep, 100. Right when you asked that, that's exactly what I was going to say.
Sony needs a first-person shooter on their thing that's exclusive.
Insomniac made Resistance, right?
Hell yeah, they did.
Yeah, that's what.
And they tease it all the time. They tease it literally all the time on Twitter. Like for a while, it was their header, and I'm like, why? Like, you're doing it on purpose. Like, I want another one because the first one's great. The second one's excellent. The third one's really good. And the spinoffs are fine. But, like, that game, like, I have no idea why we didn't get another one. It's like they were like, I wonder if Sony was like, okay, PS4, we can either do Killzone or Resistance. Let's do Killzone.
Killzone Shadowfall was so bad.
I liked it because it was the only game I had to play. It was the only game I had to play, so I liked it.
Yeah, it was me too.
But I never played it again.
Yeah. Between that and Resogun, because I have PlayStation Plus, I bought a PS4 day one, and I think I bought Call of Duty Ghosts, biggest mistake of my life. and I bought Assassin's Creed Black Flag, which is actually the last Assassin's Creed game I've played. I haven't played one since 2013. But I remember playing through Killzone. It's like, for whatever reason, I don't know what it is with Sony and first-person shooters. Like, Killzone's been around for a while. I mean, obviously with Resistance as well, but I think I would rather have Resistance over Killzone just because I'm kind of tired of Killzone. It was cool, but it just never really took off.
Yeah.
And I wonder if, I mean, Sony makes great single player, experiences. That is their bread and butter. It always has been, and it probably always will be. But I do wish that they would have a little bit more of a, versatile lineup. Like, I mean, yeah, there's versatile like bits within their single player games, but 9 times out of 10, a lot of them are just third person action adventure X and Y and Z game, which isn't bad because, I mean, what we saw with God of War, PS4, they definitely changed up the narrative there. What, the whole one shot camera. But sometimes I do agree with Zach. I wish they would have. I want to get back into like a good console multiplayer that isn't Fortnite.
Yeah. I agree.
But speaking of Fortnite, really quick, has anyone bought Mandalorian skin, Kratos, or the new Master Chief skin?
I bought all 3.
You got all 3?
Yeah, and
Jared,
they're adding Michonne and Daryl.
I luckily, and I don't know luckily is the right word, but I have never played a match of Fortnite. I have stayed away from it. I feel like there's just too much. There's shooting, there's building. I don't know what's happening here. But I will say I commend them because they are literally taking over the world. They've had John Wick in there. They've had Mando now. They have Master Chief. They're also, aren't they getting Walking Dead in there as well?
Yeah. Walking Dead's supposed to be in there as well.
Yeah, so they're killing it, man.
Marvel. I mean, the whole last season was all Marvel.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Thanos was in there for a bit, too. Brett, do you dabble in the Fortnite?
I played a lot of it when it first came out, but the last time I played it was during the Endgame event because that was the last time I had fun with it. And I can't stand it since then. Yeah, the Endgame event was actually amazing. Like, playing on either side as either the Chitauri and Thanos or as the Marvel characters, that was a lot of fun, honestly. You had different abilities, and it kind of mixed things up and made it exciting. But since then, I'm not a huge fan of the gameplay. I'm really not. It's fun. The shooting's fine. I like some of the mechanics, but I just found that I never really got too attached to the building mechanics, and other people got ridiculously good. And it was a mix of frustration and just other games felt more enticing. So I just kind of dropped it. And I haven't played it for probably a good 1.5 years or more.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I normally only hop on. A few of my friends, we'll play a few casual matches of like Fall Guys and Fortnite. So from time to time, but it's like, I really want to buy Kratos because it's like, there's nothing more scarier than Kratos
coming over a hill.
Also, with a gun. Like,
no. It's great because you get the guy that like talks. That's your back thing when you buy Kratos. Yeah. So I always have him on Mando's back instead. I'm like, I just love this.
I like that little mix up. That's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
I'm digging it.
Yeah. So I guess before we get into like some of the announcements that really stuck out to us, was there any other nominations or winners that you guys wanted to like acknowledge or, kind of just say, well, I thought X, Y, and Z game would win. I know there's a lot of them, so it's some crazy stuff.
There's 2 that were kind of not really like, technical awards. They were more kind of like community awards where Fall Guys was, I think they got the best like community
support,
which I mean, if you're following them on Twitter and staying up, they're making jokes, they're making quips, they're getting all of these new costumes in. They're very nice to their fans, and I think it's a thing that they did not expect their game to do what it's doing right now. And then another one that's almost like a swan song that quarantine really helped build was Among Us. They got 2 different awards, and honestly, I've never played a game of Among Us. I love watching other people and the fun stuff they get into, but that is a game that just literally came back from just nothing, like some streamer, and now everyone's playing it. So I thought that was a nice accomplishment for them.
Okay. Yeah. Brett, what about you?
Honestly, I was pretty satisfied with the majority of them. There were some, obviously, where I had my own personal picks, but I can't necessarily argue with the winner. For instance, like best action game. I never played Hades, but like I thought Doom Eternal should have had that in the bag. That game is fucking awesome, and it's just straight action. It is literally the pinnacle of action in my mind. It's like mixing old school mechanics with today's technology, and it was just balls to the wall crazy, and I absolutely adored it. But like everything else, honestly, like I understand Among Us obviously isn't the biggest technical marvel on the market, but it's addictive as hell. Like I haven't played it, but my siblings, that's all I ever hear coming from their fucking phones is that game. And you know what I mean? So obviously it has a huge fan base, a very devoted fan base too, and people stream it and people love it and everything. But like honestly, even now I have it up on my screen here, just kind of sifting through it. The only one I am actually disappointed in is the score and music going to Final Fantasy, because it in my mind it was The Last of Us Part 2 without even a shred of a doubt in my mind.
Okay.
I don't know, man.
So,
when you start turning on that battle music, man,
right.
hype.
It gets you going.
Personally, so like, I don't know, maybe it's me, just because whenever I listen to a lot of scores, like movie scores, TV, video games, when I'm like doing schoolwork or writing scripts or things like that, and anytime The Last of Us comes on Part 1 or Part 2, it immediately just hits me with emotions of every kind, and I find it's just some of the most beautifully composed music to ever be a part of any sort of media. So for me to see them not win that one was crushing, but other than that, I'm pretty well satisfied with everything else.
Yeah, I guess for score and music, really quick, I mean, I love Final Fantasy. Like, they did a really good job with that score, but I wish Persona 5 would have been in here, because that soundtrack is a fucking banger. I absolutely love it.
Was Persona 5 nominated for anything?
It was nominated for Best RPG, but Final Fantasy VII Remake took home the win. But yeah, so Zach, was there any other categories you thought something else should have won before we get into the announcements here?
Well, I do want to give a shout out. I'm really happy to see No Man's Sky won, because that game has been for ongoing game. Like, good job for them. Mobile game, Among Us, yeah, makes sense. Community sport, yep. VR, yep. Innovation, Last of Us, absolutely. I'm kind of on the action one. Again, I haven't played Hades, but how does Doom Eternal not win? How does Doom Eternal not win?
I don't know, dude. I honestly couldn't tell you.
I'm trying to see.
It's some weird stuff. But R.I.P.
Yeah, I don't really have any. I was, as long as Last of Us won, I really didn't care. I really didn't for anything else.
It come like 7 awards, I think, between this and the Golden Joystick Awards.
Did it win the most out of anything?
I believe so.
Probably. Yeah.
Let me show this most anticipated game. I'm really excited for Elden Ring, but I'm going to be flat out honest. My one trepidation towards this is because I love From Software, but their games don't have the best stories. If you were having a game created and like helped made by George R.R. Martin, I better have the best damn story in that game. That's just flat out. I don't want another, because I love From Software, but almost every single one of their games are the exact same game. And
yeah, the truth. I can agree with that.
Like, Sekiro is my favorite game they've done, because it's a little different, but still the combat is the same. So I hope Elden Ring is different enough. It can still be really hard, but I want it to be different enough to where I'm not sitting there throwing my controller at the wall, because I want to see what the next story piece is. Mm-hmm. You know, thank God Sekiro doesn't make me feel like, God, I need to find out where the princess girl is, or whatever the hell the story is, because I never beat the game. But how the hell does God of War or Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild sequel not win most?
I thought it was God of War without it. Hands down, I thought that was going to be the winner.
Either of those.
Or Horizon.
Out of all those, what would be your guys' most anticipated?
God of War.
Damn, dude.
Easy for me.
I think for myself,
I'm not that excited about Breath of the Wild sequel. I would rather them just do another Legend of Zelda that's completely different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think for myself it was God of War or Horizon. I guess a quick side note: I might be completely uninformed, but what the hell is Elden Ring?
It's
From Software.
It's just like medieval stuff.
So, well, do you know like Bloodborne,
Yep,
Dark
yep.
Souls, Demon Souls? So it's from those guys, but the game is being developed by them and George R. R. Martin, the guy from Game of Thrones.
Yep.
Yeah, he's like writing the story or something.
So
that's why
that's all we know about it. That's literally all we know. And we have like a little
We got like
CGI
one trailer like a year or two ago, and that's it.
and it was literally just from the mind of George R. R. Martin. Like
So
that's
probably
what hyped everyone.
Game of Thrones meets Souls, like.
Pretty much.
I hope not, though. I don't want it to be like Souls. I want a story. I want a story. But maybe a story will make me progress through a hard game. I mean, that's the honest truth. Maybe it will. But that's the one thing that's holding me back. Because out of all these, it's I'm going to be weird. I'm really excited for God of War. I'm really, really excited. But I'm really interested in Resident Evil. I'm really interested in
I've never played a Resident Evil game.
Really?
Really?
Holy
shit.
Christian, get on it, man.
It's free on PS5.
It's what?
7's free on PS5.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's on the PlayStation Plus collection.
Oh,
you know, Zach, I think that you're onto something because I am a big fan of 4, and if it has elements of 4,
that's why I'm excited.
I will be very excited for it.
I think Leon's gonna be in it. I really think Leon's gonna be in it. Which again, 4 is my favorite Resident Evil game.
Mm-hmm.
So and that's the vibe I was getting from it. You know, I'm interested. The trailer looked great. You know, Horizon Forbidden West looks excellent. God of War sequel, I'm sure it's gonna. Once I see that actual trailer and what the story's about, I'm gonna shit my pants. You know, so Halo Infinite.
I'm actually excited for. I just love Halo because that is the number one.
I like the screenshots that were released.
Yeah, look a lot cleaner than the gameplay we got.
Yeah, way cleaner.
You see, I personally didn't think it was that bad because I'm like, okay, Halo's never really been known for like its technical graphics. Like it's always just looked like Halo, just like a bit better each time. But I can understand why people are disappointed with it. But I'm glad, you know, it's being pushed back. It's supposed to come out in the fall, I believe. So
yeah, I think that's what they said.
High key, I think they reset a lot of that game.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. I guess for me, between it's probably gonna have to be God of War #1, then Horizon Forbidden West, excuse me, and then Elden Ring, and then Halo. I haven't played a Legend of Zelda game in like, no, I did play a little bit of Breath of the Wild.
I loved Breath of the Wild. I
always started Zelda game, and I never finished it. Like never.
Really? See, and that's how it used to be. But I love Legend of Zelda, but I am my favorite thing about Zelda is every game is different. Every game is different. And that's why I'm not that excited for Breath of the Wild sequel. Like I'm gonna be there first day to get it. It's just it seems like, oh my god, we hit a big stride with this game. It's the best selling Zelda game ever, best reviewed game. Let's keep that up.
You can play Immortal Phoenix Rising if you want, if that's more of your fancy, if you don't have a Nintendo. I actually do want to buy that game.
I do too.
But not for $60.
How about for 70?
No. It's gotta be like 30 or below. All right, so I guess let's get into some of the announcements. You know, I feel like Jeff Keighley definitely I feel like I don't know if he does this on purpose, but he definitely hypes up the crowd too much. But I don't know if it's him hyping up the crowd for new announcements or if it's just everyone's imagination is like running wild with like speculation and excitement. But I wanted to start with Jared. Out of any of the announcements that were listed, what sticks out to you? What are you looking forward to the most?
I honestly, I don't know because that's the thing. Nothing necessarily blew me away. I know that you three are Mass Effect fans. I've dabbled in it. I don't think I've had enough exposure to it to really, you know, be attached to these characters, the story, where they're going to go with it. I mean, a few cool things that really stood out to me, and I don't even know if I'm going to play them, is that like game called Fist, where you're like a little rabbit with like a mechanical robot arm. That looked really cool because I like cool, weird, unique ideas. I guess I'm trying to think at the beginning of the show, what was the one where the guy's like in the prison with the alien and the monster or the robot?
Oh,
that's the one that Zach was talking about, wasn't it?
Oh, Cerebral.
Is that what it is?
Is that Returnal?
Protocol.
Protocol.
I'm trying to find it.
Yeah, I'm on like IGN's website. There's so many games.
The Callisto Protocol. That's it.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, whatever the hell that thing is, that looked cool.
That looks awesome. Yeah.
I feel it. Yeah. Okay. Brett, what about you? Anything that sticks out?
Like I said, I was largely disappointed in a lot of the announcements. I was expecting a lot more. Honestly, even more so. I wanted to see more stuff that we already knew was announced, but actually just like get a little bit extra. Like we were saying, like where's that trailer for Elden Ring? Where's the announcement for Silent Hills? Where's the trailer for this, that, and the other thing? Right? We didn't really get anything that we were like really wanting to see, I think. I think the Callisto Protocol, though, of what we got was really, really interesting. That definitely piqued my interest a little bit. Other than that, Back for Blood was probably the highlight for me overall. Perfect Dark, of course, a lot of people are excited for. But aside from that, in terms of new stuff, I'm trying to find the one that actually looked interesting to me. I think I'd have to get a bit more, though, but the Crimson Desert game actually looked really good. It was sort of like a medieval hack and slash where you're like flying on dragons and fighting these giant beasts. So it looks like just kind of like if God of War type action met with like a Witcher styled world. So to me, that actually looked really good.
Okay. All right. Zach, what about you?
So the Protocol one was my number one. Seeing Sephiroth kill Mario was pretty damn cool too. Back for Blood. Take my money. I used to play the hell out of Left 4 Dead, still do. Mass Effect 3 or Mass Effect, whatever the hell they're calling it now. The Evil Dead game, though, was the biggest surprise for me because I love Evil Dead, never expected yet another Evil Dead game, and now we're getting it.
I'm glad you brought that one up because it does, again, it is bringing in those Evil Dead fans, but it does feel like it's the gameplay of Friday the 13th mixed with almost like a horde type mode.
It looked like World War Z, the game, to me, just kind of like a reskin of that, which I did enjoy, though, so I'm not necessarily complaining.
Definitely. Who's making it? Do we know?
Wasn't it Saber or something?
Yeah.
Was it Saber?
Maybe.
Yeah, I can't remember their full name. It was like probably like Saber Interactive or something like that, but you get what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I dig it.
Okay.
I dig it. Also, I was looking up Elden Ring stuff. Do you guys know Elden Ring was actually supposed to release this year?
You know what? I felt like I read that somewhere. I'm not going to lie. I felt like I did.
And then they're like, yeah, we don't have a release date yet.
JK. Okay. I guess, man, for me, there's been obviously in the Mass Effect, Dragon Age 4 is one I wanted to give a quick shout out to because I've been craving for something new from Dragon Age for a while. Of course, we had Perfect Dark was a nice little surprise. I think that was the biggest surprise for me because
Good and Evil 2.
Oh,
you know what? I'm so glad you brought that up. I wrote that down.
Get anything for?
What are like the 5 games that you guys would say are like, where the fuck are they? Because for me, it's perfect. It's beyond. It's beyond Good and Evil, whatever. Dead Island 2 mixed with Dying Light 2.
Yes, Dying Light 2.
Which I know just got pushed back again, so I get it, but that's fucking insane. I'm trying to think. There's like a couple big ones. Surprised no God of War trailer. I'm absolutely shocked that we didn't get a God of War trailer. And yeah, I'll go with those. I'll just say those.
Okay. I would say number one, Elden Ring was definitely number one for me. Oh man, honestly, I'm still waiting for an Avengers game to be actually good. So I guess I can put that. Man, oh man, there's been so many. Like, I mean, I guess within the past few years, like I would have said, I mean, if Kingdom Hearts 3 still hadn't came out, I would have said, yo, where the hell is this? But oh yeah, Fable. I know we're getting a new one. And I was like, there's been talk within these past like 3 to 4 years has been driving me mad that Playground Games is making a new Fable game. We finally got, a little bit of a teaser, but that is number one for me. Like, where the hell is Fable? Because I love that franchise.
I told you right now, you can play Halo, or you can play Fable right now, the new one.
Oh, Fable. I'm sorry.
Same
Halo.
Here.
Yeah. Fable, absolutely. Because it has been too long since, like, oh my gosh, 2012, maybe 2011, since Fable 3 came out. I don't count that stupid Connect game that came out, or that other Fable game that was supposed to, you have 4, like,
that never came out. It never came out.
No, it didn't.
Yeah.
It never made it out of beta. I had the beta. I played it. I was like, this is okay. Like, if you have a lot of friends. But
I just don't know why they never had the idea of, let's make another Fable game. Because it's rumored this one's an MMO. That's the big rumor I've read.
You see, I've heard that, but I've also heard.
I fucking hate that if it is.
I don't think. See, like, MMOs do not do well on consoles, even if there has been. Like, I mean, if you can imagine if World of Warcraft came out for Xbox or PlayStation, I don't think it would have that much of a. I mean, it might be more, they would have to fine tune all like the hotkeys and whatnot from your PC keyboard onto a controller.
I'm surprised they haven't brought it to it yet. I think that would,
surprised Diablo did that.
Dude, if they brought, which Diablo 4 also, where's that? Where was that, Blizzard? Oh, yeah. It's been announced. We know it. We've seen footage. But no, World of Warcraft, that's a game I'm actually shocked that they have not ported to consoles. Because if they ported it to consoles, I would play the shit out of it.
Yep.
I would try it out again for sure.
So,
but I'm afraid I'll get sucked into that world.
Yeah. By the way, breaking news: Cyberpunk has officially made back its whole entire budget within only 2 days.
That's
That's what pre-orders do. Like that is
marketing
like when Avengers
and what was it? It was marketing and production. They made back. That is insane to me.
Yeah,
that's nice.
That's 7 years. 7 years.
The game's only like 60, 70 gigs too. It's not that big.
Oh, dude, if you buy a digital, it's 102.
I'm good. I think I'll just get the. I think I was gonna wait for the next gen versions to come out. I mean, but like I really do want to play it, but I really want to go back and play God of War.
If you play it on the PS5, it's not bad. It's really not that bad.
Yeah, that is true. For anyone out there who's listening, by the way, if you were playing Cyberpunk 2077 on a base PS4 or Xbox One, I'm talking like the OG 2013, I am so sorry that you have to experience what's going on, because
the game
it legit looks like a PlayStation 2 game. It does. Even the frame rates is like 15 to like 20. Yeah. It's bad. I'm so sorry. And I think this game, I mean, it's been, pushed back 3 or 4 times this year. It was supposed to come out in April, and I'm like, okay, it looks like they've been taking their sweet time. But much like these like next gen consoles, I think this should have waited until March of next year. Like a lot of this stuff should have waited.
Yeah,
it is.
Everything should have.
Yeah, I mean, hey, we barely got any new movies that theater wise. Everything just got pushed back, minus the things that came to streaming, but everything. It's like we didn't even get like the French Dispatch. And I was like, where is that? I was so excited, but it is what it is. But I wanted to open up the floor really quick. Was there anything you guys wanted to, talk about, just gaming wise, or anything else about the Game Awards that really stuck out to you, where they could have worked on? Just wanted to open up the floor for you guys to voice your concerns.
I had a little bit of news I just spotted too on Twitter. I don't know if anyone else saw it, but it was announced that Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War was the best-selling game in 2020 in the U.S. So Call of Duty takes it once again.
Wow.
Just like every other year. I think the only year they didn't was like Infinite Warfare back in whatever that was, like 2016 or something.
Underrated Call of Duty game.
I actually had a lot of fun with that one too. I didn't love it, but it was fun. It had its moments. But yeah, so Call of Duty takes it again.
Okay. Wow. Yay.
Unsurprisingly, that's why I chuckle. Personally, I love the game. I think it's a pretty well-known fact. That's my comfort game. It is. It's a franchise I've been playing since 2008, I think. So it really is a comfort franchise for me. But I kind of chuckle to myself whenever I see people say like, "Oh, it's a dead game. Why do you still play that? Game's garbage. Worst game you guys made yet." Blah 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 blah. And then every single year, it's the best-selling game of the entire year, and it comes out in the last 2 months. It came out like November 13th, and it's the best-selling game of the year already. Like you can't compete with Call of Duty. It's such a mega franchise. It's just laughable. So I've been playing the shit out of it. I enjoy it.
Hey, have you had any crashes with it?
I haven't had any at this point. I have the PS5 version. I don't know if you have Xbox or PS5. Yeah. Actually, I think I had one. I might have had one early on, but I haven't had anything. Both.
Okay, because I have like 30 hours in zombies, and every time it does it, it's through zombies.
Yeah, there was one time that I was in like a really high round with a group of friends, and every time the screen got overly cluttered, the frames were like shitting the bed. But other than that, though, I've only had one crash, and I can't remember when it happened, but it was just like I went to a loading screen, and then the screen just kept loading and loading and loading, and then it just froze, so I had to go back out of it. But other than that, it's been fine so far.
Okay.
Hey, Brett, I got a question for you. So, Call of Duty, is it the story? Is it the multiplayer? Is it this new Warzone? Is it zombies? Is it like you playing with your friends? Like, what is it that's kept you around? Because I fell off years ago, and I used to play it literally hours on day.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know why. And I'm wondering if there's a reason for me to come back to it.
For me personally, it's the multiplayer. It was the first multiplayer game I had when I was 10 years old back in 08. I had my little 360 and stuff like that, and I was gifted World at War for my birthday, and that was the first thing when I got Xbox Live that I played was Call of Duty. And then it's just been the multiplayer for me always. I usually play the campaign because they're like 4 hours a piece, so they're fine. And the last couple have actually been really good, but yeah, for me it's just been, I just find it's like an addictive loop. The multiplayer is just nonstop, right? You're leveling up, especially now more than ever with the customization in the game. You have so many guns, you're leveling up your guns, you're getting new camos, there's all these challenges, there's all these ranks, and now especially with Warzone, I find it gives you even more of a reason to play, because on December 16th, when Season 1 starts, there's going to be a unified progression and battle pass that links Black Ops, Cold War, Warzone, and Modern Warfare.
Holy crap.
So no matter which of those games you play, you're going to go up through the same battle pass. The same weapons are going to be across. All of them are going to be in Warzone. So Warzone's going to have like between 80 or 90 weapons, with the new ones with each season being added in. And yeah, it's unified progression, right? So no matter where you play, you're going to be leveling up the same character, have the same operators, have the same weapons. So it's become this one giant beast at this point. So that's me personally, right? I mean, I obviously know people have their issues with the game, and I've heard a lot of people have fallen off, but yeah, it's a comfort game for me. It's what I like to play after a hard, long day, rather than getting invested in a story game or just going to bed or whatever. I'm like, you know what? I'll throw on, play a couple matches of Call of Duty and take my mind off things.
That does make sense. It's one of those games you can easily jump in and jump out of.
Exactly.
Like
yeah.
Smash Brothers. It's like, you play a couple matches and you've had your fix. So
exactly.
Are there any other comfort games, like Jared, that you like to play?
Oh man, right now I've been trying to go through and play some things that I've missed. Miles Morales, I'm slowly catching up on. But man, I am so looking forward to Ratchet and Clank. Like, that is just a nostalgic franchise that I just adore playing. The jokes hit, the fun, goofy, weird weapons, because like we were talking about Resistance, like even that, it's grounded a little bit more sci-fi, but the weapons are obscure and weird, where you have like a freeze ray, and I just love how.
What's up? The last one for the PS4?
Was that the one that was based on the movie?
Yeah,
or the movie, the game, the movie, or whatever.
Like that.
I did, but I felt like it could have been like, I love having a bunch of weapons at my disposal, and I felt like there wasn't as many, or upgrades, like customizing your weapons the way you want. It didn't feel like there was enough of that in that game.
Mm-hmm. Okay, because that's how I felt. I really liked it, but it never said, hey, come back and play. Come back and find all the tools. I also don't get why Sony is so in love with Ratchet and Clank, but not Jak and Daxter.
Yes.
Or Sly Cooper.
Okay. Fuck, Jak and Daxter was my shit. I was a Jak and Daxter guy over a Ratchet and Clank guy.
With them is that PlayStation Move combination game with all three of them.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot about that. So with Jak and Daxter, and I feel like this falls more fault onto Naughty Dog, because there is the remastered versions of all three Jak and Daxter games, or the trilogy, came out on PlayStation 3 and had trophy support, and then they ported those games over to the PS4, for playing online, or not online, but just like the digital versions, which is a terrible port, by the way, because there is a, oh my gosh, what is it? There's a website called Limited Run Games, and they normally, they specialize, it's kind of like the Criterion Collection, but for games. They specialize in games that usually just have a strict digital release, and they release them physically. I missed my chance to get the first Jak and Daxter game on PS4. I have actually sold my PS4 physical copy of Jak 2 and Jak 3 to one of my friends, because even though I already had the digital copies, I thought that the physical copies were going to run better. They'd run exactly the same. And I was like, I really don't want two broken copies or two broken ports of the same games. So I sold it to my friend. He loves Jak and Daxter. So, I still have the digital versions. But the reason why, I guess this is what Naughty Dog had said like a while back. I read it in an article. They were saying that there wasn't like enough demand for a new one. And it's kind of like the sales of the digital copies of Jak and Daxter did not support that, hey, maybe we should think about making a new Jak and Daxter
But
game.
I'll throw this out. They didn't market them whatsoever.
They really didn't. They were kind of just out there. But I'm like, people definitely want this. It's just, I guess Naughty Dog rather, do other things, which is fine. I mean, the original
But I think
Uncharted
then you
game
give it to a different studio
Jak
at
and
that
Daxter.
point. Like, I think they're literally sitting on money. I guarantee Jak and Daxter, if you did, I don't think they should reboot it whatsoever. You gotta do a sequel. I think the reboots are the ones that kind of get harmed. Like this new Ratchet and Clank, I don't know if it's a sequel to the other one or the reboot or whatever.
PlayStation 3, yeah. I see what you're saying.
But for me, it just looks like a new installment that I'm really excited to jump into.
Okay, because usually I've noticed a pattern for this throughout the years, and if there is a remastered collection of something coming out, like as we literally just saw with Crash Bandicoot, of course, you had the 3 original games tackled together, and we have Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about time. Even now with Mass Effect, we're getting a remastered trilogy coming out. I believe it's March or April, and then here they go. There's a new Mass Effect game. Usually there's more of a trend when it comes to that. If there is a, remastered collection trilogy, 9 times out of 10, there probably is some kind of sequel in the works. But
like Spyro 4, where's that at?
Yeah,
Spyro. Although we are getting a new BioShock, though, too, that's in development after we got the remastered collection. They said there's a new one. It's from a new studio, which has me a bit weary, but regardless, I'll take as much BioShock as I can get.
Where are they going to go this time? Into a desert?
They're going to go sideways in time, like Land of the Lost with Will Ferrell.
Okay.
Forward and backwards, but sideways.
Scoop, right here, Scoop.
Scoop and Scoop.
They did say they're not going back to Rapture thing.
They did confirm that, yeah.
I don't want to go back.
Okay. That's okay. That's I can deal with that. I'm waiting for Dishonored 3 personally. I know that's Zach's favorite game in the world.
No,
I'm waiting for the next Wolfenstein.
Yes.
But the new Colossus got so shit on for no reason. I adored it.
Yeah, I agree.
Dishonored is a good game. The second one's great. I suck at stealth. So
I do too. It took me forever through Spider-Man Miles Morales. Like when I was going through getting my trophies, like I suck at stealth.
Yeah,
my very last trophies were those same ones. The climb on the wall, kill this person.
My God, this is so you have to like position yourself and
you have to get naked, get out of your suit.
It was crazy. I mean, like it was nice. But yeah, Jared, since you're playing through it is a great game. It is just I feel like it is entirely too short. I think it's actually I feel like it's shorter than Uncharted Lost Legacy. But then again, maybe I was just having so much fun with it, I just didn't realize, how long it actually was. I don't know.
I'll say this: I think Miles is a longer game than Lost Legacy because Lost Legacy you could beat in. I think maybe they're even both the same length. It just depends on how much you're doing.
Isn't there more replayability in Miles than Uncharted, though? I guess I didn't play Lost Legacy, so I didn't know if there was replayability in it.
There is, because in order to get the platinum 4 miles, you have to beat the game twice. You have to beat it once on normal playthrough, and then another time in New Game Plus.
Mm-hmm.
So there is technically
you have
more.
to do that anyways to get to the highest level too. Like they make you.
They unlock or they hide things behind the New Game Plus
your
wall.
Playthrough. Yeah, yeah, because they're like on your trees. The final 3 skill sets, like the top ones, you can only unlock those in New Game Plus.
Oh yeah, now I remember that. Yeah, there's a little red plus button or plus sign on it.
Yeah, so it's I mean, I commend them for like, if you want to beat this game 100%, they make you play through it twice, which I really like, just because it's not just like, oh, I can get everything one and done and then never not touch this game until I feel like just playing it for the story, because that's the one thing I like about with trophy platinums. I'm like randomly like wanting to start to get more platinums now.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't really cared in the past, but now I like really care, and I don't know why. But it's like, if I ever want to go back and play through Miles Morales now, whenever if they make like a new Spider-Man game, I can just go back and just play it for the story and just have some fun with it.
Man, if you want to talk about platinums, you should get my brother on. He plays. I don't know why he puts himself through the pain to get some trophies and platinums, but man, that guy is committed. He's playing. Right now, he's playing 2,000 matches of Friday the 13th just to get the platinum.
Oh my Lord. If you're one trophy away, drop whatever you're doing and get that platinum, because it's well worth it. Like it just feels good. I platinumed Astro's Playroom. That was only about 4 hours.
That's a cool game.
I love that game.
Yeah, it was some great stuff. Like I want to go back and replay. Okay, so I think with Astro, you technically don't need all of the trophies to get it. I have all the trophies but one, which is the speed run. Fuck that, by the way, because oh my god, I'm so bad.
What is
so bad at it? The speed run trophy for Astro, you don't need it to get the platinum.
Thank God, I suck at those.
I'm still like, I want to get it just to get it, but it's like I already have the platinum, so I don't really feel like going back and getting that at all.
Mm-hmm.
But oh well, I mean, it is what it is. But yeah. So before we wrap up here, was there anything else you guys wanted to, any last mentions, any last, congratulations to any winners out there?
I mean, I guess just another congrats to, Last of Us. People out there definitely played the game. I know that there's a bunch of dude bros out there that's saying that it's a bad game and boycott it. But man, I think we all, whoever played it, agrees that it's a fantastic game.
Yeah. It's the people who like, I don't know, like watch like a Twitch stream. Like they know what happens in the story and they're like, oh, this game sucks. I'm like, okay, but you haven't played it though. It's like, yeah, it is a narrative driven story, and I can understand someone saying, like, I know what happens like in the plot, but like I just don't agree with it. But like, if there's a difference between watching someone else playing it and you playing it. I guess Twitch nowadays kind of has that weird gray line where, like, even with Marvel's Avengers, like I watched so many people play it like the first beta weekend it was out, because I wasn't going to pre-order that game, so I watched a bunch of other people play it, and I was like, wow, this looks really repetitive. I got a little bit of flack from like a few of my friends and people on Twitter saying, oh, well, you haven't played it. I'm like, well, yeah, I haven't played it because I'm not going to go and just pre-order this game just yet, because it looks a bit rough to begin with. And then the next weekend came around, I played it. I actually got a copy of the game for free. Still haven't beaten it. I mean, I've played maybe like 2 hours of it. I'm like, I can't get into it. I just can't. I mean, if people out there like it, more power to them. I hope it flourishes the same way that No Man's Sky flourished, because that game literally came back from the grave. But yeah, I guess that's about it. But yeah, I guess let's wrap up here. We've been talking about this for a while. I know everyone has busy lives and whatnot. I didn't want to keep you guys here for too long, but of course, thank you all for coming on, talking shop about video games like we always do. We'll definitely have to do this in the future. But I guess I wanted to go around, the room here and let everyone know what's coming up on your channel. And I guess we'll start with Zach.
Honestly, dude, you got Wonder Woman coming up the week of Christmas. I'm very excited about that. That's the biggest film of the year. Literally the biggest film of 2020. You also have Soul, which I got to see Soul early, so I do have my review up for that right now for Christmas Day. This next week's weird though. I have like nothing planned besides Mandalorian, which is kind of nice because I'm really exhausted after yesterday.
Yeah, take the week off, man.
I gotta watch a new episode.
Literally, dude, I don't know about you guys. Are you guys exhausted too from yesterday? Like,
yeah.
I started making videos for it, and I sat back and went, I don't want to. I literally sat there and I'm like,
I've been for long as fuck. So it's like that didn't really help either.
So it's just too much. So, oh well. But yeah, that's where you guys can find me. Just type in Zach Pope on YouTube, and you'll find me over there.
All right. Brett, what about you?
Sure. So you can find me on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all of the above, all at BamTube TV. As for my channel, I've been slammed lately between like school and work and life and everything else that I haven't been able to upload as frequently as I wanted to. But thankfully, yesterday I finished up my last bit of schoolwork for this semester, and then in January I start my last semester. So for these next, this next month or so, I'm actually going to have some free time to be able to pump out some content. So I'm not really sure yet where I'm going, but it's going to be nice to finally get some variety back in my channel and a bit of frequency. So excited for that.
Okay, yeah, that sounds great, man. You got to take care of your business so you can do, get back to the thing that you love.
Exactly.
So it's very important to get all that stuff sorted out. And Jared, last but not least, what is coming up on your channel?
Yeah, Christian, thank you so much for having me on, man. I usually am just talking about movies and TV, so games every now and then is a nice refresher because, man, I used to play games so much, so I need to definitely chunk some time out to play some more and definitely talk about them and whatnot. But yeah, everyone that's listening, you can find me on JBuck Studios on YouTube. I'm doing kind of movie reviews, TV reviews, Mandalorian recaps and whatnot, but also I'm kind of dabbling in some first-time watch reaction videos because there's a lot of movies that people are claiming, I need to see, and I just haven't seen. So jump over there and check out some fun stuff over there. But also, if you need any sort of video production work or audio engineering, hit up my company that I started with a buddy, Room 56 Studios. We've worked with a handful of other creators on the platform. So if you want a nice kind of update to your channel from graphics or intros, hit us up at room56studios.com.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, I didn't know if you wanted some ad space, but there you go.
Oh,
I apologize
for
nothing.
This video contains paid promotion.
Right. This podcast is sponsored by Warner Brothers and HBO Max.
I mean, you got all those free trials.
But yeah, that pretty much does it here for all you listeners out there. Everyone, thank you for listening. Of course, thank you guys so much for coming on. Again, it is like Jared said, it is a really nice refresher to talk about something else, our second passion, essentially. It can get a little crazy in the film industry as it is right now. You got to, take a few steps back, crack open a beer and just talk about some video games.
Mm-hmm.
So, but for everyone out there listening, make sure to check out the other shows on the Drive-In Podcast Network over on the Music City Drive-In website at musiccitydrivein.com. Sorry. Of course, the link will be in the description of this podcast, and make sure to follow us, Film Optix. That is Optix with an X over on Twitter and Instagram. Thinking about firing back up the YouTube channel.
Do it. New Year.
Yes.
Do it. Throw some coal into that oven.
Because we have a few subscribers on there, but I really need to dust it off, and I need to revamp some stuff. So I might be hitting up some your company there, Jared. Possibly.
Do it.
I might have to too, man. I'm in desperate need for a new intro.
Just do it.
Desperate need. I loved the one you guys made, Jaren. That was so fucking awesome.
Jaren. Yeah. But of course, make sure to subscribe to this podcast on whatever platform you are listening to it on. Wow, I cannot talk today. I'm sorry, guys. And of course, my gosh, I don't know what we have coming up on our channel. We did a Mulan review. We finally, we held out for as long as we could. We're like, this is coming out in December for free. So let's do that. Let's not pay the $30. So we have that review up. And also, I almost forgot, if anyone out there is listening as a His Dark Materials fan, me and Griff Schiller have been tackling season 2 here on our podcast. We will be posting our episode 5 review this coming up Monday, as we do every single week. So if you're a big fan of that show like we are, definitely check out our previous episodes. And I think there's like maybe 3 more episodes to go. And of course, we will be doing a Mandalorian spoiler discussion. I still haven't seen the new episode yet, but that's okay.
Well, let me tell you what happens in it. Let me tell you. You ready? Here you go.
No,
I'm going to tell you right now.
Jar Jar Binks comes back
as Superman.
Oh, spoilers, man.
God, that's insane.
Flies right in and goes, "Me so sorry. I told the big shit. I'm sorry. I blew the Razor Crest."
I can understand why he's not George R. R. Martin. Sorry, George Lucas's favorites.
I really hope it's in the Obi-Wan series.
Because it's a very safe bet, because it's like, oh, how could it not be Luke and blah, 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 blah. But I mean, it is what it is. Oh, well. But of course, my name is Christian. That was Brett, Jared, and Zach. And we will see you guys in the next one.